Hey, what's up, Ricky Beard here, and welcome back to Surviving Subsistence. And it is morning, and looks like we're getting our first snowfall ever in the entire series. 2 years later. It only took me 2 years to get to the first snowfall. How about that? Oh, either way, we're back. We're in Subsistence. I've been looking around a little bit. I had to try to remember what I did the last time I was here, and this is what I did. I know that I was going to commit to this prior to creating the entropy protocol for Minecraft. Take this fiber here. But then the entropy protocol took over. It took me a second. I'm like, what was I? That's right. I was putting the perimeter in. So I did do some things behind the scenes from the last time I recorded. Now, I am noticing since the recent update that the game is far more framey now. To me, anyway. And I'm guessing it's going to be the same way in the recording. Now, it's not just me feeling it in-game. I do know that the graphics engine has changed. And it's not to go back on anything I said. I do remember the last video I made. I was talking about Minecraft and Microsoft and Mojang being piss poor at letting people know that they were changing the where things were being saved, and it messed up a whole lot of stuff. There's a wolf. Level 1. Level 3. My eyes are bad. Oh, do you want to come see me, doggy? You want to come see me? I'm going to let you do it. But, so yeah, not to go back on what I was saying about Cold Games letting the community know that he was changing the graphics engine. But I felt it yesterday. I was going to make a video on this yesterday, and I thought, man, this game just doesn't feel right. Like, it was in a really good spot, a really good state the last time I looked at it, and it's not terrible. I might have some of you guys saying, I don't see what the problem is. I do. I do notice these things, and I am picky. I'm not going to act like I'm not. I'm not going to apologize for that. And I get it. It's still early access. This game is not officially gold. But, so what I did is I looked around at some other creators. I've watched Mitz for years now. In fact, Mitz was one of the big reasons why I started playing Subsistence. And her videos are pretty framey and janked out too. And obviously from there, the rabbit hole moves on, and I found a few other creators. Look at the snow building up. Just taking it in. I'm a big fan of the snow. Now, I also don't know how much my air return is going to show up while I'm talking, because it's getting pretty warm here where we're at in real life, and that thing is going, the air conditioner is running, and it's just going to be, it's going to be noisy in the background probably, and I hate that. I am going to be doing some more work on the mic audio settings too. I had them tweaked a certain way for the entropy protocol. But yeah, like I said, I was looking at some other creators' videos on Subsistence, and I thought, well, they're going through it too. So it's not just an isolated me problem. But anyway, we're here for now. I do, or rather I should say, I would really like some suggestions. I'm kind of directionless at this point. You know, I had Surrounded going at the end of the year last year. I had, what else was happening? A few other projects, a few other ambitions. I know that I was given access to Cowboy Life Simulator. I don't know if anybody wants to see that picked back up again and continued. I really took a giant shit on everything that I was doing for the entropy protocol. And I apologize for that, but I got so wrapped up in it. You know, I started writing. I said I wasn't... There's some iron. I mean, this is less about the entropy protocol and more about why I leaned into it. This is not a brag. It's... Well, maybe it's more of a humble brag. I'm not really sure. You can determine the way it sounds to you. Oh, yeah, you know what else before I start talking about this? I just remembered. I think the bases have been reset, so that means... no more pond pussies. No more river shitters. They're all gone. Pretty sure of it. Thinking if we run up here, these slap dicks aren't going to be here anymore. I think they're all going to be somewhere else, which is not good. I mean, it is. End of an era. Oh, that's a bear. I'm going to mess with the... oh, man, don't you see? Yeah, they're gone. And you want to be Snoop ass, huh? You want to come and smell my crack? I'll come over here and see what I got stanking on. Oh, you son of a bitch. Let's get up here and look at that. Still got a blueberry, carrot. You coming along? He's still coming along. I think I see scrap. It's all coming back to me. No, you gave it up. Yeah, they're gone. They're all gone. That means the fortress across the lake is gone. That means the river shitters are gone. And that means I don't know where these jackwads are at now. So that's going to make for some entertaining content when I stumble across these turkey burglars. But, yeah, anyway. So, about the entropy protocol, you know what I didn't do? I didn't check my levels. Just going to have that. Yeah, I don't want it to sound like a brag. Hoping it's more of a humble brag. That doesn't make sense. I just want transparency on the entropy protocol because we live in an era now. We live in a timeline where people go, "Are they using AI?" I was even get this. Not that I was accused, but I was asked by my own son. This isn't to throw him under the bus. He said, "You using AI to write this?" And I looked at him and I thought, "Damn, homie. I mean, have some faith." You know, I get that there's some people in my life that didn't know this about me, but the people that are very close, a lot of other people in my family over the years, now I'm not a social media guy. I'm kind of going to veer off the path for a minute to talk about this. So, but I shouldn't say that was never a part of it. I had a very brief stint with social media. Now, I'm gonna be a little too revealing here on my opinions about social media. Don't let what I say dictate how you handle it. But I'm not a fan. I'm just not. Maybe it's my old age. And yeah, I'm a bit older to be doing what I'm doing on this platform, and at the same time I don't give a shit when anybody thinks I'm doing it. However, I'm not built for social media. I'm just not. I have whether anybody recognizes it or not, my tone sometimes, I've got a bit of a temper. And I also have a bit of an issue restraining myself, containing that temper sometimes. So, I'm not just saying all this so I could be like, I like to get angry with people and do shit. It's not what we're doing here. What I'm saying is, I would go on these diatribes. I would go on these rips sometimes on social media. And I was very deliberate in my approach. Again, let me stress this. My time on social media was extremely brief. This is going to sound utterly absurd, but I'm going to say it anyway. I was bullied into it. It sounds unbelievable. It sounds even more unbelievable when I hear me say it out loud. But a friend of mine, my wife at the time, they were all over social media, and they were I'm just going to say it. I don't give a shit. To me, they seemed like they were competing against all their fake friends. Like, I got 300 friends. Yeah, well, I got 700. And, I would just say to these guys, yeah, but you fucking can't name 550 of them. You can't tell me one single thing that you know intimately about 680 of them. So just stop it. We would go like this. But anyway, I would shit on it and they would, back it up in the days of, not to say these guys were doing it, but it was in the days of, I only have social media because I've got an aunt, in I don't know, North Dakota that I don't talk to. Horse shit. You have social media because you want to compete with the other, turkeys on social media. The status quo, the fake it till you make it crowd. And that's not me. I'm not above anybody. I'm not better than anybody. But I will not do that. I'm not a part of it. And maybe what do they call it? They call it an empath. I don't think that's what I am, but you know, I do let shit affect me, and I'm aware of that. So I'll see stuff, and then I can't shut my mouth. You know, I'm the kind of idiot that says bullshit. You know what I mean? And it's not because I'm jealous. It's because it's bullshit. Most of what's happening on social media, bullshit. The people doing it, bullshit. They know they're bullshit. They can't stop being bullshit. The whole situation is bullshit. And I'm the idiot in the room that goes, you know what that is? A whole lot of bullshit. And there's I don't know if that's a rogue. He doesn't know I'm here. Yeah, he does know I'm here. Let's not start some bullshit. But I would go on these rips on my very, very small escapade. Are you coming this way? No, he's not. But I would get on these little rips, sometimes big rips. Let's not get into personal territory, but I'll give you a little tiny tidbit. I've had a tumultuous upbringing. I'm not a huge family guy. Love my wife, my son, but you know, the place I came from, I'm not a fan. Just not. And I'm also the kind of son of a bitch that if you cross me, you're fucking dead to me. I won't play games with anybody. I don't believe that I'm innocent. I don't believe that I can't do wrong. But if somebody gets on the wrong side of my line, I can guarantee you they're marked permanently. I am literally that scumbag that a lot of people who love to trespass do not like. No social media for you. All right. Now, but I would write, this is going to sound ridiculous, deliberately, oh, this is going to sound so mean, but hey, you know what? I would rather, if I'm going to tell something, I don't want to bullshit anybody. How are you going to do that? You know, you hypocrite, you contradicting shit. You want to talk about how people are horse shit and bullshit, and then you turn around and you do the same thing. But because of my hang-ups, because of my issues with certain people in my life at a different point in it, I also knew too much about them. And one of the things that I knew about a handful of people, judge me if you will, that were not so nice, not so decent to me, they weren't the most intelligent people. Not to say that I'm a Rhodes Scholar, you know, because I'm not. I'm certainly not an intellect, but to these people, you might think I am. I know, again, horrible, but truth is the truth. Not just because of the way I see it, but because real comparisons. I think I'm going to go get this chicken. Been a minute. Gotta catch me a yard bird. So, no, wait a minute. I thought that was come here. Little shaky. Come here. I'm going to get you. There it is. That's creepy. All right. What were we saying? Weirdo. I've lost my train of thought chasing down chickens. What was I talking about? That's right. So, few people that I didn't, as I got older, you know, did some pretty awful things to me and were pretty not great to me. They weren't very intelligent people. And again, I'm no intellect, no Rhodes Scholar, but man, it was more for them than even for me. And maybe that's not true. You know, when you come from, God, this might reach some people and it might turn them off and say, you know what? Fuck this guy. He thinks he's better than everybody else. Not at all. I mean, if you feel that way, can't stop you. But I kind of get it, you know. When you write like an idiot and talk like an idiot, you're going to be thought of like an idiot. That's just how shit goes, you know. I didn't make the fucking rules. That's how life goes, you know. And you know, I didn't want to be associated with that. It was very difficult for me working through the environment and the atmosphere that I was in. And thankfully, I was able to get around a handful of people that, you know, kind of helped show me the ropes of what it might look like. You know, how the other half lives. And though it was, again, not the easiest thing to navigate, trying to sound articulate, trying to understand, a larger vocabulary than the ridiculousness that I was, growing up around and listening to. But just know that by the time that's a level, you know what? I think we can just, doesn't matter about you. Point blank, the shooty wins. I'm yapping. I forgot that I had to eat a butcher. Way to go, Beard. So yeah, I was that son of a bitch that when I had the opportunity on social media, and that was really where it first shined. The greatest was an opportunity for me to flex where my vocabulary had expanded to, and the articulation within, the way I write stuff. And so there may be some people in my personal life that never got a chance to see that. But, and this is again, not something you probably want somebody telling you, but weirdly enough, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed people coming back to me, even people that got hit by the shit that I was saying back then. I wish I had your brain. I know that sounds absolutely absurd, but you also have to consider the source of the type of intellect in which it was coming from. This was not coming from people that you classed as, yeah, they're pretty smart. So I knew it. I weighed all of that, considered all of that. But because I was able to present myself in writing in a form of which these guys could not, and was not afraid to do it. Again, I won't mention any names because that wouldn't be fair. I mean, if there's anybody watching this channel, whether that's in my family or somebody, my wife's family, or whoever that hears this, I'm not firing off stray bullets. I'm not using this platform to do that, but I will use points in my life as reference areas. And one of the things that sticks out, again, won't mention names, but several years ago, I was talking to some members of one side or the other's family, and who didn't really know me that well, and weren't exactly told the truth about me because of agendas and other narratives, whatever. And the thing that stood out the most to me, after having spent time around me, and I mean, this isn't going to be verbatim, but it's going to be close. One of the individuals that I was hanging out with said, I just don't get it. And, myself and someone else was like, what are you talking about? You don't get what? This is all confusing and shocking to me. And I'm, of course I don't know what's going on. The other person next to me doesn't know what's going on. And, so I inquire further. I'm like, what do you mean? What's confusing? And it was about me. I had come to the understanding that this individual had been lied to by other individuals. I know it's ridiculous, but what does it matter me telling you any names? You don't know these people anyway. So, long story short, it comes down to, I thought you were stupid. I thought you were this gigantic idiot, and you're very articulate. You speak well. You're not at all what I thought you were. And, it's nice to hear that, and that's no slam to anybody. It's, nobody wants to be told that they're a moron. I probably should cook that up. But it's nice to know that, at some point in your life you get an opportunity to come back and change the narrative of, somebody else has said about you. So it just kind of put in perspective things that I had felt and known for a long time. But had they seen had they been friends with me on social media, they might have learned sooner that I'm not I wasn't this gigantic moron that I was made out to be. And so with that said, I just wanted to share that, as ridiculous, as absolutely ridiculous as that probably is to some people listening to it. I don't give a shit. We're here now. It's the truth is the truth in this matter. And So, again, for the ones who didn't know this about me and are questioning, I understand my son going, did you use AI? No, I didn't use AI. I genuinely sat and wrote that. And by the way, full disclosure, my vocabulary isn't that robust. So there were points in writing the entropy protocol where I was like, yeah, I need a different synonym for this. So I started looking up different synonyms for, certain terms in which I was using. So I get that we live in an era where you're going to be accused of this stuff, and rightfully so, because, if this is what you're doing, I think you should probably tell people that this is what you're doing. What's the harm in it? But I was told for years, and this is no joke, by my wife, by a lot of people close to me, oftentimes due to the type of shit that I was writing on social media about other people. Or when I would get on a big rip about a giant opinion that I had about something that I just felt that I needed to throw onto the world because the world gave a damn. The world didn't give a shit what I thought, but I was writing it anyway. But I was still told by quite a few people around me, and you really can write. You should try to write once in a while or whatever. So I didn't exactly go into the entropy protocol with the intentions of putting the vast majority of my efforts, I should probably eat, putting the vast majority of my efforts into writing that. But I knew what I wanted it to be. I knew what I wanted the story. I knew how I wanted the story to go. Can't have that. All right, should have had these. We're gonna need a bit of water. But yeah. So that's how I got so enthralled with writing the entropy protocol. In fact, I was driving myself insane. I don't claim to be a writer, so don't mistake my words here. But I really sympathize with these people of writer's block and whatever else, because I did share a lot of this along the way. As I was writing this, I was, reading a lot of this. My wife was proofreading some of it. I'm not the greatest at, I'm a pretty good speller, but I'm not, perfect. Nobody is. And my punctuation is pretty good, not the greatest. So she was able to proofread a lot of what I was writing and doing, and so she saw it firsthand that it was coming from me, in real time, writing this. In the beginning, I was just writing it all out in the books right there on Minecraft. And then I got wise and I thought, maybe I should just write this stuff down on a notepad, in Notepad or whatever, WordPad, and just copy it in, where it fits. And that proved to be way more difficult because there's only so much room that you're allowed to place, lines of literary on those books in Minecraft. It was a pain in the ass, quite honestly. So, boy, am I glad that that's over. Because what you don't know is how much I struggled with getting Wilson to behave. The mod that I used, the dwellers, how much I struggled to get them to trigger. That was not an easy undertaking. And I'm not even saying that to get somebody to go, you poor baby, it must have been horrible trying to put that together. No, it wasn't horrible. But it was a pain in the ass. And more than anything else, I said this when I first created this channel, and it's too late. Maybe I'm a hypocrite, and, fair enough. Because we all are from time to time. I'm not going backwards on anything I said earlier, but let's face it. We really should take care of our words. You know what I mean? We can't foresee the future in all cases, but I do remember at the inception of the channel, or very close to it, I mentioned at least once or multiple times in there that the content that I'm going to create on this will be organic, will be on the fly, and that's the way I wanted it to be. I want, whatever comedy and however I run commentary and dialogue on here, I want it to be real. I don't want to record something. I don't want to be that, and it's not to shit on any other content creator on this platform, but I don't want to be the creator that sits here, records something, and then applies the comedy, when they have time to think about it. I want it to happen dynamically. And I was also never interested in scripting any entertainment. That's the biggest point that I wanted to get at a second ago. I did not want to do anything scripted. Not because I couldn't, but because I was afraid of it. Absolutely terrified of doing something scripted. And again, let me clarify this. Not because I was terrified of what any of you might think, but because I was terrified of me. Because I'm an idiot. That's right. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I am overly obsessive. I mean, immensely. I'm one of those personalities that when I put my mind to something, and I know that there's a few people that's been around me that are going to be a shitty person right now. They're going to hear me say this, go, how come you don't apply this to other things? How about you stay the fuck in your lane, whoever you are? But I'll tell you this. The people that do know me well, they will tell you with, no force, no, you must say this or else bullshit. I'm trying to think about how to get up there. Can we do it? Can we reach that? Come on. Yeah, we can. No, we can't. Come on, it's getting dark. I'm one of those people that it's all or nothing with me. You know what I mean? It has to, sadly enough, things have to work out. And if they don't, do I not have a flashlight on this thing? Yeah, I did. And if they don't work out, then I'm out. And I'm not afraid to pull the plug early on some shit. If I see the end result early and it's not about, is it faring my way? Am I getting my way? No, I'm not interested in that. But I'm telling you right now that if I can see the end result and it's not worth my time or anyone else's, I'm cruising. I'm getting out of there. And I don't give a shit who doesn't like it. What can we put away now? But with me, it's an all or nothing mentality. And I'm very, very obsessive when it comes to stuff. I started working out quite a few years ago. And, I was definitely working out off and on throughout my adult life. I should have been doing it much sooner. But we're talking to extremes. Now, I was never the guy that you would see on the cover of a Men's Health or something like that. I mean, I wasn't the poster child for muscle or fitness, but it was an extreme level of working out. And most people wouldn't do what I was doing and will still continue to do to this day. But that's just, proves my point, and that doesn't prove anything to you guys who don't know me, but it proves the kind of, personality that I have. I'm just very, very obsessive, and I knew that sitting down to write something like the entropy protocol was going to be hugely problematic for me, mainly because I wasn't going to, I'm a bit of a perfectionist on top of it, even though there may be some imperfections in these things. So it was like, look, if I'm going to do this, this is all I'm going to do. And that's what I was absolutely afraid of. So I've talked enough about all this. I didn't even say enough about what I was supposed to do, or what I was going to do for the base, but that's all right. Because I'm going to end this right here. I'm going to pick it right back up and try to put a bunch of episodes together, one after another, so I can start editing this out. But the other thing I wanted to ask all the viewers that have continued to stay with this channel, I'm a bit in limbo right now. I don't have much in the way of direction in terms of where to go outside of Subsistence. So if you have any suggestions of other games you'd like to see played, survival games, story-based games, throw them down in the comments. I look at everything. I respond to everybody. So with that said, I'm going to close this here. We're going to move on to the next episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.